Hello and welcome! It is Team Modern Super League time once again. I'm Randy Bueller and I'm joined by Jessica Estefan. Welcome!
Thank you so much for having us on, Randy.
Yeah, you are a member of the stream team for this season. I think this team is going to be super fun tonight. I'm certainly looking forward to watching. It's you, MTG Nerd Girl, and then Cube April King as the third. Pretty sweet team. It's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's a really good team. We've been nicknamed the Dream Team instead, so maybe we'll go for a team name change.
I can see that. I can see that. Your opponents this week are the Brothers Who Bash. I don't know why they're not just the Bash Brothers. I don't entirely understand, or the Bash Bros. I don't entirely understand their branding, but it is, of course, Brad Nelson, BBD, and Corey Baumeister.
Yeah, we don't try and look too deeply into their naming selection.
Probably best that way. Now, you have had a crazy year, really the crazy last couple of years, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a wild year for sure, and it's been a wild 2 years definitely. So.
And now you are from Australia. You are in fact casting from Australia. It's what, tomorrow afternoon there right now?
I am in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so many Magic opportunities. You won a Grand Prix. You did well at the Invitational. Now you've been invited to the MPL. And did I hear you're actually going to be moving to the States to take advantage of all these Magic opportunities?
I am. It's been my dream to get to play Magic every weekend on a high level, and getting to move to America just makes that possible. And I'm so excited to be able to do this.
That's spectacular. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And then what, moving in about a month, did you say?
After Mythic Championship, Barcelona is currently the timeline for me.
Makes sense. And then Barcelona for you, Modern is one of your favorite formats. Is that right?
That's correct. Modern is the format I enjoy the most.
Should be a fun night. Should be a good MC coming up for you too. Now, I want to ask you about the MPL because I know you got kind of crammed in at the last minute, but now you've had a couple of weeks in the MPL. What is that like? How does that even work?
So prior to this, I was still working full time, and I can with confidence say that I am busier now playing Magic full time than I was with a full-time job trying to grind Magic as well. So
okay.
There are a lot of emails that require being answered, and fitting in all the logistical and the administrative stuff. I get to play a lot of Magic, and it's my job. So I'm both grateful, flabbergasted, and incredibly excited to see what I can do with it.
Right. If you guys haven't been watching the MPL, they did a 5-week split. So it's 32 players. They divided up into 4 groups of 8. And then it was a round robin within each group, right? So you play each of the other 7 players in your group?
Yes. You play 7 matches total.
And then that's spread out over a couple of weeks. So I guess you get to submit new decks for each week. You're submitting a deck. Do you know your opponent when you submit the deck? Or is it just, I know I have one match this week. I don't know who it's against yet.
I don't believe you do get to know your opponent. My situation was a little bit different because I was onboarded later.
Right.
So I played my matches across 2 weeks instead of the full split.
Right. So I can't ask you how you did because you guys have you played you're done, but we don't know the results yet? Is that the situation?
I finished my matches just before this started.
Wow. Okay. So I don't know, but good luck. I hope you did well, however that works. The Friday is the final show, right? Friday at noon Pacific is the last show of the split, and it looks like there's pretty good drama. I actually, it's funny, I was talking to Brad and Brian, I think 2 of your opponents this week, obviously in the MPL, and each of them had massive matches with essentially the division on the line for both of those guys.
That's correct.
That's a buy into day 2 of a Mythic Championship if they win that group.
It's a really big deal. I hope they win. They're both great people, and it'd be nice to see them get there. So
yeah, and I guess Brad is the only undefeated player left in the entire MPL at this point. So fully in control of his own destiny. He is Brad Nelson. No, it's right. It makes sense that the standard MPL would just be Brad cruising to an undefeated record the first time around, right?
His stream is titled World's Best Standard Player, and he got to prove that, so go him.
Yeah, no, we'll have to see if we can tell, maybe we get spoilers out of what kind of mood he's in tonight. I don't know if he played yesterday or today, but I knew both he and Brian were trying to prepare for that while they also put this together.
Yeah.
Now, you probably had a lot to do with the Modern decks your team submitted then, if this is your favorite format.
I got voted captain, and
okay.
April was like, "Can I play a meme deck?" And I was like, "Yes."
course. We
So
like the meme decks here.
we went both ways. So we ended up submitting Blue Red Phoenix, Dredge, Boros Burn, and Tron.
Okay.
And yeah, Blue Red Vision.
That's 4 decks, and then the Blue Red Visions deck.
Yeah.
That deck looks sweet. Like it looks like it can legitimately win easily a third of the time, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see how it does. I think it's paired into Lantern Control. So
it is.
Yeah.
I haven't the faintest idea how that matchup works, but if anything, it feels like having a bunch of bounce is probably good in that matchup, right? I don't know. It feels like it might be one of the better matchups.
I'm so excited for it.
Same. I think that's match 4, so we will definitely get that match no matter how the results of the thing works. The format tonight, if you're new to Team Super Leagues, it's best 4 out of 7. So we're going to play anywhere between 4 and 7 matches. We'll just keep playing until one team has 4 wins. The schedule is set. You can just ! schedule in the chat if you're watching this live and pull up a link to the schedule. So the players submitted all of their decks before they knew what the opponent was playing. So you're not metagaming in single, against a single opponent or a single deck. They submitted their decks. We've got the schedule worked out. Yeah, we'll just keep playing until somebody wins 4. And first up, you guys are putting MTG Nerd Girl up. She's on Boros Burn, is that right?
That's correct.
And BBD is her opponent, who's going to be rocking 5-color humans.
That's right. I'm excited to see how this goes. MTG Nerd Girl has put in a lot of effort into learning the modern format for this and for Barcelona upcoming, which is qualified for. So,
right, she's playing Barcelona, so I know. I thought that was part of the reason she sort of accepted this. She doesn't play a ton of Magic Online, is my understanding, right? She's primarily been one of the awesome new wave of arena streamers, right?
She is. She's an amazing arena streamer, but Moto was a new experience for her. So yeah, it was an experience.
I did see her say in the chat that her goal was just not click through an attack phase at any point today.
Yeah. I'm glad the deck's a little easier on the Moto yielding.
Fair. I think it's awesome to get her involved in this. I mean, I wanted to have a stream team this year. It feels like that's a big part of just what's going on in Magic nowadays. The wave, especially with Arena coming in, has just been awesome to see so many sort of new and interesting personalities join the community.
Yeah, I think that the way that influencers and streamers have been used to promote the game is quite fantastic. So.
I agree with you. Completely agree. I like to think Super League has played some small part in that, but just keep doing our thing.
Super League's great, so yeah, just keep doing it.
Works for me. Now, so Burn versus Human, some of this is Nerd Girl doesn't have a ton of experience with Magic Online or a ton of experience with Modern, but I know she put in some time to try to learn her deck. Is this a good pairing, do you think? Is this, a draw dependent pairing? What's your take on what we should be looking for in this first match?
I think that the play and the draw is definitely going to matter, and I think that there are certain pieces that humans can deploy which will impact MTG Node Girl's ability to take over the game and decimate, their life total. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, Burn is trying to get them from 20 to 0, but humans is such a creature-based. It's a creature-based deck, so you're not necessarily going to be going face with your Burn spells, and your resource management is very important there. So I think it's really reliant on that. That being said, I do think Burn is a little bit favored. So I'm excited to see how this goes for us. Okay.
Burn is a little bit favored. I did see Brian's packing 3 Auriok champions in the sideboard. I mean, it seems like this was a matchup he thought he would want some help against. That can't be good news.
Auriok champion is fantastic right now. So between Burn, you've got Dredge, you've got the Phoenix matchups. It's going to be a prominent player in all 3 of those.
Makes sense. Not a lot of dedicated hate for him in game 1, though. I guess Thalia is probably the best thing Brian can put on the table.
Yep, Thalia. You can have like Kite Sail Freebooters and Meddling Mages, all going to be impactful here.
Interesting. All right, we are getting that match set up. That will be the first match of the evening once we get down there. And then April gets to join the team for match 2. She's playing not the Fevered Visions deck at first, though, right? You gave her an Is It Phoenix decks to take on Corey with in the second match?
No.
Sorry, Tron. Corey's the one who's on Is It Phoenix for that match. It's Corey's Is It Phoenix against her Tron.
That's correct. I'm always really excited to see how these goes. I would love for April to win, and I think we've definitely given her the resources to do so. I think she's fantastic at this, and yeah, we'll see how far she can go.
And then you get to take on Brad Nelson in the third match.
I do. I do. There's been a little bit of smack talk there, and I hope it doesn't stop.
I will say the chat for this week's match, tonight's match, has been more fun than I can't remember the last Super League chat with this much talk flying back and forth in pregame.
Yeah, it was a really good Discord environment. It definitely helped like ease anyone's nerves, so that's great.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right, while we get this first match set up, I do want to thank our sponsors for Modern Super League. You see cool stuff on the overlay right now. They actually have a discount code. MH10 will get you 10% off Modern Horizon singles. That is just good throughout the season at any point. I know Modern Horizon about to kick in as well. So we thank Cool Stuff for putting that together for you guys and helping us keep doing the show. Mage Market is also a sponsor of the stream. The Mage Market boys are going to be here next week playing against Channel Fireball, and Modern Horizons will be legal starting next week. So
wow.
Those cards are going to hit Magic Online. I guess there's events coming up this weekend, and yeah, I talked with Convinced Wizards. Yeah, put them in the God accounts we're using. We want to get that on stream as soon as we can. So Modern Horizons kicks in with next week's show, but first, let's head down to this week's first match. See what's going to happen. All right, here we go. MTG Nerd Girl on the top. One land, but do you keep that? Probably you keep the one land on the draw. Looks like BBD did win the die roll. Pretty solid hand for him.
Yeah, so Brian looks like he has a really good hand lined up. He's got the turn one play and the turn two Thalia, and both of those are going to be really important here. I think Brittany's hand is really interesting in that the Searing Blazes are going to be spectacular, and I think on the draw I would keep this, but I think it would also be. There are arguments to be made for mulliganing.
I also think you keep this, right? There's 4 1-mana spells. Hiccuping for a turn isn't the end of the world. You get 2 looks before you even miss a land drop. There's another Lightning Bolt off the top.
Yeah, I think the fact that the 7 had a Lightning Bolt, which is a spell that she can use to interact, is really important. That being said, this Thalia is going to make her life a little less happy.
Instead of being able to just keep casting 1-drops, she's going to need that second land in a hurry.
Thalia is also going to be putting up a really solid defense against the creatures. So.
Yeah, Goblin Guide did not reveal a land. Revealed that Reflector Mage.
Revealed the Reflector Mage.
This has to be Thalia, right? I mean, he could cast the Reflector Mage. But yeah, he likes Thalia.
I also like Thalia here. Getting it down as soon as possible. It's going to have to be answered. And it's going to require all of Brittany's mana next turn to do it. The attack.
She hopes.
All right, we'd like a land for Brittany. It would.
That is not a land.
I don't really want to delve into Paul Cheon skewed commentary.
No, look, it's a team Super League. Biased commentary is totally legit for a team league.
As my teammate, a land would have been really nice there.
I'm neutral and I wanted to see a land there. I just like seeing interactive Magic.
Oh no,
yeah, this is not gonna work.
That lightning bolt isn't happening.
Gotta try it. Maybe it'll work. Make sure you know how the thing works the way you fear it does.
Right. Fingers crossed we do not attack. I think based on the texture of this board, if we draw a land next turn, there is still the potential for us to come back into this game.
I agree.
But I think our window is quite limited depending on how BBD's draws do go.
This is going to be a pair of Thalia's lieutenants.
Yes, it is. And so
2 counters from that one, 3 counters from this one. The board is getting out of hand.
It's a thick board.
I still, though, land into Lightning Bolt on the Thalia. It's sitting on 3 toughness.
I think that killing the Thalia is going to help us here, but that 3/3 Thalia's lieutenant is going to untap and become at least a 4/4.
That's a fair point. That is not good news. There's the Arid
We
base.
have a land. We have a land. This is good news. There is hope for us yet.
I mean, if she hadn't missed the land drop last turn, I actually think she was ahead. I mean, some of it is just she has more spells than he does.
Yeah, but unfortunately, those spells matter a lot less if they can't be cast.
Yeah.
There's also the argument here to Lightning Bolt the Thalia's lieutenant. That's a 3/3. And
Oh,
get
wow.
that off the board.
Before it gets to 4 toughness?
That's correct. And that way you're keeping their board in check. Brian's already played 2 Thalia's lieutenants, so it's unlikely to draw a third, but there are phantasmal images to be accounted for.
I like her line, though. I feel like she needs to double spell next turn.
I agree with her line, but I think that there was the potential to take either line. I think that there is arguments for both here.
Yeah, I'll buy that. I just think her ability to cast multiple spells is the way she gets actually all the way back.
Kitesail Freebooter, I think takes the Lightning Bolt here because a land is going to be required for those Searing Blazes. So.
Takes the Lightning Bolt and gives that lieutenant the 4th point of toughness we were talking about.
Yeah. All right, if we draw a land, it is a good time. But this board is quite rapidly getting out of hand for us, especially because like even once it's cleared, we still need the resources to burn BBD down from 18. So
yeah, he's going to bounce Swift Spear, get a couple more counters on those lieutenants. This is an attack for 8. That's not a small number.
No, that's more than half our life total.
She takes it and land? Rift Bolt. Not a land.
Not a land.
Yeah, she might be able to survive a turn, but she's not winning this game.
I think there's a difference between survival and, as you said, winning.
Yeah.
So.
Right, it's one of those where like it's complicated enough that you're probably not supposed to scoop, but if you think long enough, scooping is probably actually fine.
I actually believe that she's dead on board. So if she plays the Swift Spear and spends the Rift Bolt, it's still lethal.
Yep.
All right, so we hit the sideboards.
Brittany agrees, and yeah, here we go to the sideboards. Like to my eye, Auriok Champion is the most relevant card here. Does she have anything particularly sweet?
It's very small. I as a frequent Moto user, my cards are much larger when I'm playing.
We need to teach her about the arrows.
We do.
See that arrow? Slide that to the right. The cards will get bigger. All right.
That's better. So the deflecting palms will.
Oh, that's cute. Sure. I think it's 1 deflecting palm.
It's 1 deflecting palm. Yeah.
Do you bring in Chain to the Rocks here?
I believe so. I really like that tech. We caught it in an MTG top 8 list, and it's I don't know if it's too cute, but it was really good. So
seems cool.
Yeah.
Searing Bloods are good too, right?
Yep. Anything that's going to target a creature is probably going to come in.
That's a pretty good sideboard then. This is something like 7 cards that come in. All right, let's see what happens in game 2. Being on the play also helps.
Yes, it does.
Grim Lavamancer seems like he could do some work in this matchup.
Be nice to see a fetch land there, but I agree that Grim Lava Man is gonna be powerful if we can find a fetch land in say our top 3 cards. Um, I think Brian's hand is really leaning on this Oriok champion.
Fair. Just lead with Aether Vial and figure it out next turn. Probably gets a 1 and a 2 next turn. That all makes sense.
Aether Vial on turn 1 is just, it's such a power play.
Interesting. What do you do with her hand? How do you sequence this? Do you just want to cast 2 spells while you can? To have Lavamancer food, or oh, it's okay. She's just gonna go Sacred Foundry tapped.
I would have shocked there, just because it means we're not doing lava spike things. So
Yeah, she could,
yeah,
in theory, have taken 2 in order to skewer for 3 and get a second card into the graveyard to fuel Lavamancer.
yeah. I think my line there is more like just shock and attack for 1 and pass the turn. I think the way that lava spike works in this matchup is not entirely in Bone's favor. Oriok champion here is, it's going to be quite punishing.
Hypothetically, she can kill it with a Skullcrack, right?
Correct. Protection.
But it
Is
has to
really
get into combat as well because you can't target it with any of the red spells. But Skullcrack would turn off damage prevention, which means protection from red wouldn't reduce damage to 0.
So
this is kind of a parlay, but hypothetically.
The other issue is Brian can untap and make another Oriok champion.
With the Phantasmal image.
Correct. There's going to be 2 life gained, I believe. And yeah, the champion didn't come in last turn off the vial, so Brian's able to protect it, presumably. So we can win this. I have nothing but faith in my squad.
Really? I'm with Chad, who's got like I'm in danger memes going on.
Yeah, it's like the "this is fine" meme where like you've got the cartoon and flames surrounding them. But I'm not giving up. I'm not ready to give up. So I don't care if I'm wrong. I have to believe in something, and it's
I
not
like
gonna
it.
be.
All right. I like it. You got this.
Yeah.
Just Boros Charms to the face. That'll outpace the life gain from Double Ariak Champion, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, he's actually kind of risking the Skullcrack here, right? Block and Skullcrack would have been pretty good there.
I don't think you're bringing in Skullcrack for this matchup. If I'm
well, it's in the main. It's are you taking it out? But
yeah, I believe you should. Like you don't want lava spike in this matchup.
It's just you never feel more clever with a red deck than when you kill a pro red creature with a Skullcrack. I'm probably suffering from the danger of clever things, but
I've lost a few.
oh, you can't block
champions.
it. I'm being an idiot. You can't block, so that doesn't even help.
Oh.
You have to get Brian to block, so no risk. My bad.
Okay. All right. Well, Brian doesn't seem very interested in blocking.
Definitely suffering from the danger of cool things. Yeah.
So we have 8. We have 14 damage plus whatever this Lavamancer does. So if we fetch a mountain and put Brian to 10, and hope the pair of Oriok champions don't just grow out of hand, grow the life total out of hand.
She's fighting the good fight.
She is. I'm trying to stay positive here.
Yeah, well, she doesn't know the second Oriok champion is coming. 1, I think you could legitimately. I mean, her hand deals 10, right? The Lavamancer makes it 12. Actually, technically, the Lavamancer makes it 14. She actually, yeah, she has 14 damage over the next 2 turns from her seat. I don't think 14 is good enough.
We're alive, and we have the potential to win.
14's a lot. He's on
14 is a
10.
lot of damage. So we're going to get another Oriok champion here. It's kind of next turn that becomes the problem because the Reflector Mage is going to come down and target that Grim Lavamancer, and that does take.
Yeah, now it's 12, and Brian's gaining 2 life.
So what we can do here is when the
this is 1-drop creature, 1-drop creature, 1-drop creature, and then Vial out a Reflector Mage to gain 8. He's gonna gain 8 this turn cycle.
If Athena was in the business of making backdrops, I would like the flames to be put behind me. This is not.
Yeah, you're definitely a "this is fine" meme.
Oh
I'm picturing Ralph Wiggum on the back of the bus, but that's fine. Works either way.
I've never watched The Simpsons. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I miss all the good references. Please go face.
Lightning Helix kills the champion. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. I think I'm with you that I would have gone face, but there's 2 more creatures coming, so.
If we swapped an advantage bar with like my ability to believe in our ability to win this match, it's changed. I'm hopeful because I feel like I need to be.
It's a good teammate.
That's what I've got, so we're gonna work with it.
Grim Lavamancer fighting the good fight.
Oh.
Down goes Noble Hierarch.
Down goes Noble Hierarch. BBD gets to go from 1,000,000 mana to one less mana.
Well, he's getting Exalted off the board, getting an attacker off the board. I don't know. Oh, there's the Skullcrack.
There is the Skullcrack.
Where was that at the beginning of all the life Auriok champion? I guess the Skullcrack's going to deal 5. Right? She can respond to the champion triggers this turn. She has passed. Brian's debating whether to vial out the Reflector Mage. Declines. He's just going to sit on that option.
MTG No Girl's graveyard is empty. So
yeah.
He's in no rush.
Horizon Canopy delivers up a second Kitesail freebooter. Only gets to cast 1, though. They're all goodies. Yeah, I mean, I think you let those triggers go in the stack and then fire off the Skullcrack.
You fire off the Skullcrack.
Maybe the Skullcrack and the Boros Charm. Give him the Spectacle.
I think I like Skullcracking. If he Boros Charms and takes a Skewer, we can untap, kill the Kitesail freebooter with our Grim Lavamancer, since he no longer has access to 3 mana or a Vial.
Brian's like, I want my life gain triggers. Response to Skullcrack. Here comes Reflector Mage. I saw this coming last turn, so I didn't activate my Vial. Give me these life points. You can have Grim Lavamancer back before there's any food. Yeah, and now she just says, okay, what do you want? He takes Skewer the Critics.
It's the only thing that can target a creature. So
I'll buy that.
I don't think we're dead to Auriok champion unless I've messed up the rules. We have the Chain to the Rocks that we can draw to.
Oh, sure.
And also this lovely Monastery Swiftspear.
I don't think that's going to win in a fight against Auriok champion. Sorry.
Neither do I. That's okay. That's all right. I appreciate you trying. We can't cast that Lavamancer.
Yeah. You said it before the match that Auric Champion's just in a really good place in Modern right now.
It is. I think like from a Dredge perspective, which is one of the decks that I brought today, playing the Blast Zone in the main just really helps deal with that. And is one of the reasons why the Dredge versus Humans matchup has improved greatly.
Okay.
In against Burn, though, at least we have Chain to the Rocks to knock the top of our deck for.
I think this is life 12 and 13 Brian's gaining.
It's
And
a
that's
lot.
with her negating 2 of them via Skullcrack.
Yeah. And dealing 3 damage with the Skullcrack as well.
Ugh. Alright. Fire off the Boros Charm. Kitesail Freebooter, you can have this this healing salve. The Grim Lavamancer that's not even clear it's worth casting.
Brian also has a Thalia, so...
Yeah. 3 Boros Charm. You got him down to 16, right? Or you want him?
18.
My bad.
2 Auric Champion triggers just resolved. It's alright, I can't fault you for misremembering how much life has been gained. I'm trying not to think about it.
All right. Sure looks like the Brothers Who Bash are going to take a 1-0 lead here. Still plenty of Magic left to be played, though. It is best 4 out of 7. So everybody's going to get a chance. We're going to see at least 8 of the 10 decks you guys brought. Hopefully we get to see all of them and get a game 6 and a game 7, or match 6, match 7.
I'd like a match 7 so I can take revenge on this Humans deck.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, our 2 teams did share their deck lineup so that all that knowledge would be public. They know what to look forward to. You're running the anchor leg, right? It's you in match 7 if we get there?
That's correct.
Oh, Militia Bugler, because clearly Brian needs more creatures.
More creatures, 2 more life. What isn't this Militia Bugler getting us? It's going to find a Phantasmal Image as well. It's not. All right, it's found a Thalia's Lieutenant. That's somehow worse for us.
Sorry.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, this is one of those games you just kind of have to laugh at. 3 sideboard cards. He had 2 of them, or I guess he only had the one in the opener. The second one was a Phantasmal Image.
I think we've lost the everything is fine meme. We've given up on that.
Ryan Brown wins the match. MTG Nerd Girl loses, but she'll be back again later, assuming that the overall series goes that far. It's just 1-0. Still got plenty of Magic left to play. We are going to take a quick break. We are going to set up for our second match of the evening. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hey everyone, I am Brian Brown Doing, or BBD, and I'm joined by MTG Nerd Girl. What's up? How you doing?
Hey guys.
And I guess we just concluded our match, and now we're here to bring the next match. I don't know. I personally thought it was a great match. Maybe you would feel differently, but I thought it was excellent cards on both sides.
That last one was really close. I almost had you.
Yeah, you were very close to dipping me below 20 points of life, but what can you do with burn? Sometimes you don't have to reach. All right, so our next match I think is Corey versus April. I think is it Phoenix versus Tron, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know how that matchup goes. Do you know how that matchup goes?
I'm going to say April wins.
Okay, I'm gonna say Corey wins. So
one of us has to be incorrect, and it's you won the match, so I get this one, right?
I guess fair is fair. So yeah, we'll go with that. It should be a fun match. I know that Corey has played a lot of Phoenix, so I'm excited to see how he pilots the deck. And I know April likes blowing up lands, so we'll see how that goes. But
I think we're still waiting to queue up the game. So, our match. Oh boy, I thought you were going to be. I'm new to Modern and I'm new to Moto, and I thought I would still have a pretty good shot. I mean, it's not like you're like a pro player or anything, but
no, not at all.
Oh man.
Yeah, I actually think I kind of punted that second game. Not that it came back to bite me, but I got like a little too greedy in trying to get as much value as I could. Like I had a champion of the parish, and I was trying to set up so I could like get it above 3 toughness on the same turn, and also gain a bunch of life from my Auriok champions. But like, I just realized that like you could maybe just burn me out in the meantime. So that was probably pretty loose, but. Fortunately, you just didn't have it. So.
I had one good end step, and I was like, okay, he's at like a reasonable life total. I think I had it down to like 10, and he only had like the 1 life gain guy on board. So I was like, maybe. But yeah, it was just I drew a few more lands than I would have liked, and in the previous game, I just did nothing because I kept a 1-lander because super greed. Why not? But
yeah, Thalia has been known to punish the old 1-lander before, so. As she does for quite frequently, but yeah, I'm actually not sure entirely how Humans versus Burn is because I haven't played against Burn in forever. So I actually don't even know who's like technically supposed to be favored in that matchup. I think it's pretty close, but if Auriok Champion gets out of control, then it's just lights out.
Yeah, I was hoping I was gonna have enough burn, and I was checking out Humans yesterday. I should have tried to consider the boarding in of the protection creature, and I could have boarded in like Chained to the Rocks, but I didn't really think it all the way through, and I just don't have enough like matches under my belt with Modern.
Yeah, I mean, Chain of the Rock seems good there for sure, but like you also don't want to go for too many non-burn spells and then not be able to finish a game either. So it's you kind of have to like balance that song and dance of like if you have too much interaction, you could just like I mean I'm gonna just play so many creatures. My deck's all creatures that if you spend too much time killing my creatures, maybe you don't kill me.
Yeah, I had to, make that switch, and as soon as I did in game 2, I knew it was pretty much over. Once I had to like use the Lavamancer to kill one of your like Lana producers, I was like, okay, womp womp.
Yeah. Once Noble Hierarch's biting it to like a 3 damage spell or something, that's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, so far, unfortunately, I'm hoping to bring for the other weeks. I'm hoping to bring something a little bit more competitive than Burn. But given that I'm so new to Moto, this is the easiest as far as like intensity with the Moto mechanics, not just mechanics of the deck. But I was trying to do Humans, and I was like fumbling through like the Aether Vial triggers, and it was something you need to have a lot of muscle memory for, and I just don't have it yet.
Yeah, especially some of the decks are like you don't have you need to like be able to sequence through the turns pretty fast. If like some of the slower decks like Blue Eye Control or Lantern or any of those decks, like you don't actually have that much time to mess around with them on Magic Online. And if you don't know all the shortcuts and keys and stuff, it can take quite a while and be a pain for sure.
At the beginning of the match while we were waiting to start, I was told to like toggle down the little like shortcuts key thing, and I was like, but I need to know. I need the reference. I'm gonna blame my loss on that. I didn't have the shortcut reference.
Yeah. You needed a shortcut to like where's the shortcut key for drawing a second land? Is that in there? I didn't see that as one of the options, but a lot of changes these days. Who knows? So.
Let's see where we are with this match.
Yeah, looks like we're still hanging out, waiting for the Bash Bros podcast. Sorry, the Brothers Who Bash to advance to a 2-0 early lead on the stream team. So.
Yeah, I was wondering. They were talking about that earlier. Why is it the Brothers Who Bash and not Bash Brothers?
I'm not sure exactly. I'd like to take some credit for that because I like to not say the right words, and I just have this disease where I can't call it the Bash Bros podcast. I have to call it the Brothers Who Bash. So I think that's it. Okay, sounds like the players are ready. So
all right, guys,
let's go ahead and jump down to the game.
All right.
All right, we are back and looking like a Tron hand and looking like a Phoenix hand. I don't know who is on the play here and whether the players have decided to keep. It looks like April has one Tron land and Ancient Stirrings and a Chromatic Sphere and also Sylvan Scrying. So that's like kind of a borderline hand, it looks like, where if she fails to find a second Tron piece or fails to find another way to generate a green mana, she might stumble a bit. And then Corey's hand looks like a bunch of cantrips, so seems like a solid Phoenix hand to me. All right, looks like April mulligans, and the 6 is pretty awkward. No Tron lands, and
it's very awkward.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Tron is though that it can mulligan very aggressively and still be okay. So hopefully we'll find something.
Yeah, I'm not really a Tron expert, so I don't know if this is supposed to be a keep here, but I would guess you're probably supposed to go to 5 without a piece of Tron. Although like she does have the O-Stone that she can just play on 3, and Karn can be played on 4. So maybe it's a keep. I don't actually know.
This hand does seem worse than the 7, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a mole.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think this hand is worse than the 7 for sure. But once you start getting down to 5 territory, I mean, I know Tron mulligans really well, but still, the lower you go, the harder it is to assemble a playable hand.
Yeah. The nice thing about it is, though, is that they do have a lot of very underwhelming 7s, and they can manage to get there on 5 very often.
Yeah.
So,
all right, this actually looks like a pretty good hand for 5. Especially if she can find another Tron land, looks pretty good. Classic gut shots for Tron. Maybe we'll get a Phoenix back with that gut shot or something. All right, don't know what Corey was choosing between, but took a Serum Vision. So Corey's hand's pretty slow, which is awkward against Tron, where you kind of want to be a little bit faster. I think he was hoping to find like a thing in the ice to get some early pressure going.
Yeah, with mulling down to 5, though, he's got a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while for April to assemble all of the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I with that being said, April could easily have Tron on turn 4 and play Ugin. Like Sylvan Scrying here can find another Tron piece. Well, let's not get excited about it, but that could find another Tron piece, and then Ancient Stirrings could find the last one. And
I have to root for them to carry me.
I feel the same way. I need to root for Corey to take us to the promised land. Okay. Is that a finale of Promise? It looks like it. It's a really interesting one. I don't know. Have you had the ability to play with that card at all yet? Finale of Promise?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, it seems it's kind of like a big card in the standard Phoenix decks now. So I'm kind of interested to see how it does in modern Phoenix, because it's a super powerful effect and there's better options in modern. So don't know if it's good or not, but
Modern is changing up a lot with the Modern Horizons coming around the corner. It's like live in 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So I know you are as well, but we're both going to Barcelona, which is modern, and I'm really curious to see what the heck's going to happen, how that's going to shake out before we go.
Yeah, and it's weird because like War of the Spark is almost like Modern Horizons light too, because there's a lot of cards from War of the Spark that are also making an impact in Modern. So it's really interesting that they kind of printed like a set that impacted Modern more than like any recent set, and then there's also Modern Horizons.
Modern Horizons, yeah. So there's going to be a big shakeup. I don't know how much it'll impact the like major archetypes, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. That's why I'm actually so glad to be involved in this. Is that you get to really have hands-on Modern and like be involved while it's like evolving. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Just also good testing too for the MC. All right, looks like April found Expedition map, so she did assemble the Tron.
Yes.
Hate to see it. You really hate to see it, but she did get there. I don't know Corey's best way to fight this, because she's gonna play an Ugin next turn. That's gonna be really hard for Corey to take down.
Right click concede.
There's a Pyromancer's Ascension. That's really interesting because Finale of Promise with Pyromancer's Ascension. Corey's played a lot of Manamorphoses, and don't know if he's played any duplicate sorcery speed cantrips, but he could get that online pretty fast. But then again, Oblivion Stone and Ugin can also just take care of that pretty easily. Looks like he is going for the Ascension. So I'm curious to see what the play is here. Ugin can -2 and exile the Pyromancer's Ascension. But there's also the option of plussing and keeping it at high loyalty. There's also Karn the Great Creator, which was just drawn too. So
A lot of options.
Yeah, not looking great for the home team. I'm gonna refer to the Bash Bros as the home team, if that's okay. But we'll see. Corey maybe can find a way out of this. All right, so Corey needs to draw away. Corey can kill Ugin this turn if he draws the right mix of cards, but it doesn't look like that was the case. Because he has Gut Shot, and he could go like, if he finds a way to dump the Phoenix into his graveyard, he could go Gut Shot the Ugin, play the Finale, replay the Gut Shot on the Ugin, and then Phoenix it down. But that was not the case.
That was weird. I lost my stream connection there for a second. Had to refresh. Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what Corey does here. He could also just play Crackling Drake. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what the right play is, but
Crackling Drake also helps him potentially find a better answer.
Yeah. So he's going for Hardcast Phoenix, which is actually pretty good here. So he can attack Ugin down to 2. Sorry, Eugene. My apologize. Apologies for the mispronunciation. I'm pretty sure it's actually Eugene, the spirit dragon.
No way.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
I think it is. I actually think it is.
I think if it was, this would not be the first time I was hearing about it.
Well, you heard it here first, I guess you could say. All right, here comes Karn for Trinisphere. That is dirty. So, yikes. I think, well, there's another Phoenix. That's actually pretty good. It's actually quite good because that'll allow Corey to at least either take out the Karn or hamper the Ugin down to 1. Which I think is pretty important because the threat of April next turn playing Mycosynthellatus and locking Corey out of the game is pretty high. Like if Corey plays Crackling Drake and says go, April can just -4 the Eugene and then get Mycosynthellatus and lock Corey out. So
the Phoenix is definitely the first piece in the puzzle he needs to like try to get back in.
Yeah, for sure. Like he could maybe go with the Phoenix this turn, knock out the Karn. The problem is that Trinisphere is going to make it really tough to ever get the Phoenixes back, but what can you do?
It's really awesome getting to commentate on something like this, especially pick your brain because you have a little bit more modern experience than I do. Not much.
Like 1 or 2 games at most, but yeah, a little bit. You know, every game counts, they say. So
it is really cool to be on this side of the table with you, discussing these matches, and I think it's going to be great help to me for future modern endeavors.
Yeah, this is pretty fun. I mean, I will say that these are 2 decks that I am not like really an expert on. So unfortunately, I don't have maybe the best insight here, but it looks like Corey did kill the Karn, and so now he just has to deal with Trinisphere, Ugin, Wormcoil Engine, Oblivion Stone, Chromatic Sphere. No big deal, really.
Piece of cake.
But yeah, that's just easy game. Maybe April will tap the Trinisphere. I don't know if you're aware of the wording on Trinisphere.
No.
It makes everything cost 3 mana as long as it's untapped. So
okay.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't have any text as if it's tapped. So
interesting.
If you just tap Trinisphere, it just turns it off. It's really bizarre.
I knew what it did, but I didn't know that like because I've never played Tron specifically, so I've just never noticed that second bit of the text.
Yeah,
or lack thereof.
It's such a rare thing, but it has certainly come up in Magic's history a time or two, I'm sure. Yeah. So I think that's our out here is that April finds a way to tap the Trinisphere, and then we go from there. So otherwise, Corey's on slightly better than a 2-turn clock from the Wormcoil, and there's also still the Spirit Dragon, whose name we don't know for sure, but.
This is April is my revenge for your double champion.
This is just game 1. There's still a lot of Magic left to be played. I gotta say, Karn, the great creator, seems like obscenely good in Tron, though.
It does.
Yeah. Like terrifyingly good. Okay, so Ugin went upstairs, dropping Corey down to 4. So Corey's dead next turn to the Wormcoil Engine. But has the Crackling Drake, which can deal some damage. Still
damage,
not.
Yes.
Yeah. Still not going to be enough, almost assuredly, but who knows? Weirder things have happened. Let's see. Okay, Manamorphose. Let's think this through. Manamorphose gives Corey. It only costs 1 mana under Trinisphere effectively. It nets 2. So almost possible that Corey could like chain some spells together. But I don't think so. I don't think it's possible.
That would have to be a lot of runners.
Yeah, there'd have to be a lot of guts being shot, and I think, yep, and that's gonna be a game.
Mwahaha.
Is that your best evil laugh?
Yes.
Okay, that's not bad. It's not bad. I'm saving my evil laugh for after game 3 when Corey wins both post board games. So
there's not going to be a game 3.
Okay, all right. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see who's right. All right. So looks like there's some moons happening here on Corey's side of the blood and Alpine variety, both effective against Tron. Also, Saheeli's coming in. It's an interesting one. Another sweet War of the Spark card. I know you play a lot of limited, so I'm sure you like.
I do.
I'm sure you've seen Saheeli a number of times. I think
yes, that card is pretty sweet and limited.
Yeah. I think that might be like my favorite limited card in this set, but maybe I'm wrong, but it's pretty close.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I don't like anything that's too overpowered. Like, I get really bored. I'm just like, okay, you got a Lily, all right, you win. But like cards like Saheeli, where you're doing, you're activating things, doing real cool stuff, and you're getting to build your deck around it. I had my favorite deck was triple like Spellgorger Weird with double Saheeli, and was just able to like go nuts. It was great.
Yeah, turn a servo into a Spellgorger Weird, play a bunch of stuff. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's sweet about Saheeli in like Phoenix is that you have cards like Crackling Drake that are just obscene to copy with the servos.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also, even just copying Phoenixes are pretty good too. It gives the servo haste. On April's side of things, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Tron's supposed to be doing. I mean, there's some amount of graveyard hate Tron has access to. Looks like she's brought in Thragtusk, which, if I know anything about Tron, is that they bring in Thragtusk against every deck. So that this is adding up to be pretty well. But past that point, I'm not sure. There's kind of a weird thing with Karn where it's like, are you supposed to put your artifacts in your main deck or leave them in the sideboard to get with Karn? I don't know. It's interesting.
I would love to like pick the brain of whoever created Tron, or like whoever has mastered it more recently. I think it's a very stapley deck and very like, what's the word I'm looking for here?
I think it's stably. If I had, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're looking for.
It's just such a big staple, and like,
yeah,
a lot of it goes over my head, given that I don't know much about Modern, or as much as I would like to. So it just seems like a very unique, interesting deck to me.
Yeah, I think Tron is Modern's best deck of all time. Which I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like Tron has just been a tier 1 deck for the longest period of time in Modern's history. That's what I'm trying to say, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you think of Modern, you think of Tron. All right, looks like both players are on 6. Corey's hand looks really bad, but probably still a keep. And it looks like he probably scryed to the top, not cracking his fetch land or playing the Alpine Moon.
A viewer suggested iconic is the word I was looking for, and that's a good fit. I'll take it.
That's a good term. Yeah, iconic's a good one. All right, looks like he's waiting on the moon, maybe. So Alpine Moon can shut out Tron, but April has Blast Zone, which is a convenient answer to it. So I don't think it's like it's not really like a permanent answer. It's just kind of more of a slow you down kind of card. Say Corey's going to need some help this game. April's hand's pretty good.
Yeah. She has a lot of the pieces already.
Yeah, 2 pieces of Tron, 2 Ancient Stirrings to find more, and under no pressure as well. So, yeah. So now we're going to see Alpine Moon take up, probably name one of the Tron lands, but that Blast Zone's like a perfect answer to it. So I'm interested to see. I think April will probably go for Ancient Stirrings on her turn, but she could also just play the Blast Zone itself.
Interesting comment from the viewers. It says, I believe that the Blast Zone did more for Tron than Karn. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure if I agree about that. I think that Blast Zone, I think the Blast Zone did a lot for like a deck like Eldrazi Tron for sure, because that deck plays a lot of random colorless lands anyway, because all the cards in the deck are colorless. But when it comes to Tron itself, it seems like another nifty tool, but Karn seems like kind of the real deal. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Blast Zone's better than I'm giving it credit for. The fact that it starts on 1 counter can make it awkward sometimes.
Karn is just such a staple in the deck that it is hard to imagine something being more relevant. But
Yep. I mean, anytime you get to add a land to a deck that is like Tron, though, I mean, it's got to be a pretty good land to make the cut when you already have soaked up 12 of your land slots with Tron. So, all right, Corey went for Thought Scour, and then has access to Spell Pierce, but might play the Finale this turn. Finale gives him access to Sleight of Hand plus Thought Scour again. Maybe he can even throw a Phoenix into his yard in the process, which would be pretty nice.
Let's hope not.
Well, all right. So I'm not sure what order you're supposed to cast those two. I'm sure there's like a correct order in the Sleight of Hand and the Thought Scour, but it beats me what it is.
So you said Corey has played a lot of Izzet in the past. Is this like his go-to deck?
Well, his 2 main decks are actually Phoenix and Tron. So I would put those 2 as the 2 decks where Corey is most likely to end up. But
so this is like an ideal matchup for him almost.
Yeah, it's like his 2 babies battling each other.
Exactly. And when you're battling against a deck you know very well, even if you're at a disadvantage, which I don't know who is here, but I feel like it gives you a little bit of an edge when you know how to disassemble it or play around things.
Yeah, that is an excellent point for sure. Like being well versed in your opponent's deck is important in Magic too. Yeah.
I recently did a standard tournament where, again, I don't play much constructed period, so kind of building my constructed skills up from the ground. And I learned the best by actually just playing a couple reps with every game or with every deck. And then when I went into testing, I noticed I had a much better view of how to play against those decks.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And like that's just good advice just in general too. It's like you can master your deck, but if you don't know what your opponent's trying to do and like how they might sequence, then like you haven't really mastered your deck. So
I feel like I learned a lot more from those 5 games playing with the opposing deck than I would have if I had jammed 15 games against it with my deck.
Yeah.
You get to learn all of those like fine-tune little minute things that you just wouldn't necessarily notice, or like interactions or the way things are drawn. You think about things in terms of what could I draw? And that's really cool. So hopefully that'll help Corey, but I'm going to say it's not.
It doesn't look like it is the way this game is going, but you never know. Corey's found 2 Phoenixes, but doesn't currently have a way to get them into the graveyard to bring them back. So, I mean, the Alpine Moon is still in play, but there is the Blast Zone, and April, has access to the Expedition map, the Relic. There's a lot. So it looks like Corey is just going to cast a Phoenix. One of the cool things about
carry me, April, carry me. I was just gonna do something silly, and you were like, serious business talk.
Continue. Oh yeah.
Proceed.
Well, no. Continue.
That was it. That was my party. I did my dance party.
So you want April to carry you, but right now Corey's the one with the flying creature. So who's really carrying who here?
Well, she's up a game, but
that's a fair point. For now, up a game for now. It's about to be tied up.
Is it?
Probably not.
What is the? So I see by their deck name. Why does it say 01 April and 10? Is it?
That I couldn't tell you. That must be erroneous. Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So April ended up blowing up the Blast Zone. Has Tron assembled and exiled Corey. Corey just drew Pyromancer's Ascension, which is exactly the card you always want to top deck right after they exile your graveyard. But Corey does have the 2 Phoenixes, and right now April's hand is only the Wormcoil Engine. She does have Tron, and Wormcoil does race 2 Phoenixes pretty well, but Corey could find a way back in, especially if he finds another piece of land hate.
So it looks like the numbers by the deck names, that's the score for the team. So that's actually your point
that makes sense.
I generously gave to you.
It was a great gift, and I appreciate it.
I mean, I didn't want to embarrass a member of the MPL.
Fair enough.
Once I was done with the Invitational, I was like, okay, I don't have to play any of these people anymore. Here you are again.
You're like, never again will I be on coverage against these people. 2 days later, you're like, oh man.
Actually, the same day at the end of day 2 of the Invitational, I went and did a side draft, and it was like 3 members of the MPL in my draft. I was like, what?
You're like, man, I don't even get 1 day off. Come on. All right, so there's the Wormcoil Engine, and here's access to Sylvan Scrying, which I don't know. I don't know if April's list has multiple Blast Zones or just the one. But if she has access to multiple Blast Zones, she might want to find another zone here.
I will find out.
All right, Corey drew Metamorphose into Faithless Looting, which he'll cast. That'll. Okay, that's actually. So now it looks like Corey is winning unless April top decks. So what Corey can do is upbraid Wormcoil Engine, attack April down to 5, upbraid the Wormcoil Engine in combat so it doesn't gain the life, and then attack her again for the final 5. Attack her down to 5 and then attack for the final 6. So. And gets the first counter on Ascension too, so setting up for later.
This turned around very quickly.
Yeah, April kind of flooded a bit, just drew a bunch of lands, needed to find more gas. But she does still have 2 chromatic stars that can, find something. Anytime Tron gets to draw another card, I always feel you're never really favored. Like, there's just anything like a UG, the Spirit Dragon off the top here would probably just end the game.
That's not what it's called.
Okay, all right, fine.
I refuse.
An Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. All right, there's Thragtusk, like that. That is it. That That's
Draggy.
what is that? 5 life up to 10. Fortunately for Corey, the Abrade. Oh no, that's Karn the GC. I don't know what Karn can do here, but I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
Mwah, ha ha ha.
Anytime Tron gets access to drawing 3 cards, you know, there's a high chance of something devastating. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of options. There's Karn plus Carny things, whatever those might be.
I like that.
Yeah.
Carny things. It's perfect.
There's Thragtusk as well. How much mana does April have here? So she has. Oh man, I can't even do the math. It's too much.
Tron math.
Yeah, it looks like it's 10 lands in play, but she also has a land drop, so up to 12. So Thragtusk plus Karn plus something else. Maybe Mycosynth Lattice I could see, but that doesn't. Yeah. Oh, she's okay. So she actually has 3 mana. So this might be another Trinisphere. Imagine one of these birds is going to kill the Karn, so maybe Ensnaring Bridge. Don't know if that is a card in April's sideboard, but I could see that being pretty effective here. Shutting Phoenix down from attacking, and if you keep the 2 cards in your hand, once she draws her 3rd card for turn, she can attack with the worms, which is kind of cool.
Chat does seem to agree with you about the bridge.
Okay, cool. If there's anything I know about Modern, it's Ensnaring Bridge. I've cast a lot of Ensnaring Bridges. Do enjoy that card. Fun and fair magic, you could say. It is the Ensnaring Bridge. All right. So now Corey's going to need to draw something gassy here.
I'll take Ensnaring Bridge for 200.
Corey does have, okay. Ooh, okay, so that's the second counter on Pyromancer Ascension. So Corey's going to see a lot of cards. He also has Faithless Looting in his graveyard. Oh, and drew Faithless Looting, so he gets a double looting here.
Ruh-roh.
So looks like we found a Saheeli. Oh, wait, never mind. Did I miss something with that Faithless Looting? I feel like I missed something. Shouldn't he have gotten a second one? All right, well, maybe Corey needs to find an answer to the Karn here, or he's probably dead. Oh, Faithless Looting gave it the second counter. Okay. Ooh, Alpine Moon. So that would shut off Tron, but would not shut off Karn being able to find Mycosynth Lattice to shut Corey out of the game. So it's looking bad. Looking quite bad.
It's looking quite glorious.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but I guess, teach their own.
Gotta have one for the away team, I guess. Seeing as how you
That is
called dibs
right.
on the home team.
That is correct.
Wait a minute.
We don't want it to just be.
We're the stream team. This is on Twitch. That makes us the home team.
That is well. All right, you make a fair point. I've changed my mind. You are the home team now. I'm trying to think of how bashing has to do with Twitch, but I'm drawing a blank. So, all right.
If anything, that would be Twitch chat.
That would be, yeah, Twitch chat. We need like a chat lethal team or something. All right, so there's Mycosynth Lattice. And that is going to do it.
Who has more subs though? I would go on a venture and say me.
I would suggest that that's extremely likely. Yeah. I have my 5 loyal subs, and then past that point, it's anyone's game.
I stream like 250 hours a month.
That's a lot. That is a lot of streaming.
It is.
I'm not at those levels. All right. I'm pretty sure this game is just over. I'm not sure how Corey can win from here.
Doesn't look terribly likely. And if that's the case, I did tell you this wasn't going to go to a game 3. So
that's right. So far, all my predictions have been horribly wrong. Okay, it looks like the game is over.
We got it.
Corey packed it in. So congratulations.
Yay,
that was a good first. That was the first match with Karn. We brought 3 decks with Karn the Great Creator. So yeah. I hope you are ready to be on the receiving end of Karning later in this stream.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think we brought 2 Karn lists.
Okay. There's gonna be a lot of Karn. That was some serious carnage though. April kind of just won. Yeah, gotta get I gotta get at least one good pun in.
I like it.
And that wasn't it, but you know.
I'll give you an A for that one.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I liked it.
So what's the next matchup then? Do you know what are we looking at?
Yes.
now?
So our next matchup is going to be Brad versus Jess.
Ooh, okay. All right, and yep. So we'll be back in a bit with Brad versus Jess. See y'all.
All right, see you guys.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
All right, everybody, welcome back here to the Team Modern Super League. My name's Corey Baumeister. I'm here with April King. April, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Well, my face hurts a little bit after you just beat me repeatedly there.
That was really, really difficult for me. I am so used to I'm just so used to being like a Jenny. Like I just play for fun. I play fun decks that are dumb and don't win. And going into this match, like everybody, both on my team and on your team, is like a spike and a really good one. And you all want to play well. So for me to play well, it just goes against everything I've ever learned.
Well, you played damn well. I didn't really see the. I didn't think there was a way I could get locked out because I thought I could attack Karn on that turn. But yeah, putting the bridge into play, I was like, if I didn't find an Abrade or something, I think there was just absolutely nothing I can do. And yeah, that's ended up what happening.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I actually spent a lot of time debating there because you did have the Ascension in play.
Yep.
So I could have gotten Trinisphere.
Yep.
And Karn would have died, but it would have maybe slowed you down. But you already had 5 lands.
Yeah, I think I actually had 6 too, so I still could have really, 2 spells a turn when they're doubling. I think that's pretty reasonable. So I think I think you made a good choice there.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was just worried. I was like, okay, just as long as he doesn't have a lightning bolt, please don't have a lightning bolt, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, I actually sided him out, so maybe that's a huge blunder there because so I played a lot of that matchup, and it's been just historically bad before the new Karn has been out. So that's how I've always sideboarded before, but maybe that's something I really should have adjusted to a little bit more because that new Karn is a serious beating in this matchup.
It's like really absurd.
Yeah.
When I was practicing for the league, I played a whole bunch of decks.
Wait, you practiced for this?
Well, okay.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I mean, well, so I was just trying to find like what is the best prison deck that I can play because that's what I like to play. I like to play prison decks.
Do you?
And I tried like a mono red you play a lot of Legacy, right? Or a decent amount of Legacy?
I play a decent amount. I've been really starting to get into it. Grixis Control is one of my favorite decks to play. It's so fun.
Perfect. So you're familiar with like Dragon Stompy, right?
Yeah,
Yep. And so I was like, I built a modern version of that from scratch with Karn, and and the deck was like pretty good because it had 4 chalices and all the really dumb stuff that people hate about modern. But like every time I cast Karn, I was like, all I want to do is cast Karn. This card is so absurdly good every time I cast it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just figured like
go ahead.
Going Karn into Mycosynth Lattice is just the best thing you can do, I think, in modern right now.
Yeah, it's disgusting. That is just a 2-card combo that's very easy to assemble.
It super is. And like the fact that you can -2 it the first turn and, get a good lock piece, like get a Grafdigger's Cage or get an Ensnaring Bridge or something, you can slam that right away and then next turn just lock them out of the game. Like that. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to see
maybe like a ban on one of those.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see it in the future because it's
the nice thing about Tron now is it's even easier to sideboard. You only have like 6 cards you can actually bring in now. So speaking of how much you love the prison style decks, I think you and BBD should hang out more often. He loves to ruin people's day via Magic. Have you ever watched his stream when he played his standard deck with no win conditions?
I didn't. Did it just win by getting people to concede?
Just delving Acuity and clear the minds and just tilting your opponents off until they absolutely just give up.
That sounds
I'll save the name of the deck
fabulous.
for chat here on that one.
Yeah, my deck next round, people have been talking about it because it's really bad, and people I think are expecting good decks for the Modern Super League.
That's the blue-red pile we got coming on, right?
The blue-red pile usually wins. I will say, in my experience, it wins on roughly on turn 14 or so.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So speaking of next round, do we know what our matchups are coming up here? I know it's Brad against Jess, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, Brad against Jess, and I guess, and I believe we got Lantern versus Dredge. Actually, I don't know if that's right though, because I thought Lantern was up against your blue-red pile on round 4, because I think BBD was playing it, but maybe I got that wrong.
But. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I am playing against Lantern in next round, which is going to be super exciting. We have 2 decks that can't win at all. So,
April, aren't you glad we're not commentating on that one?
They're gonna have no idea what to say. They're gonna be like, "This is the worst thing I've seen in my life."
Yeah, I think Brad is actually sticking with the Urza Tron plan, and he's doing Eldrazi Tron against you guys this time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So how do you think that Tron matchup versus Phoenix is like on a normal basis? Do you think it's as lopsided as I do, or you think it's a little closer?
So I actually thought it was before I played this. So when I was practicing, like I just never got a matchup against Phoenix.
Okay.
And so I just assumed it was a bad matchup, with Phoenix being like reasonably fast in the way that can like get down 6 power and like start smacking you in the air really quickly. But I actually think it's pretty bad for Phoenix now. Having played that game, like they were both close, but not close.
Yeah,
right?
no, I actually think as it Phoenix's worst matchup is Urza Tron by a lot. Like whenever I'm playing that deck, I'm just praying for no Urza land. It's just so hard to compete when you're trying to nickel and dime with 3 damage, and you have a lot of inevitability, but Tron does not care about inevitability at all. You know, I mean, it's all about power. And now even with that lock piece, I think it even gets worse. I truly do. Being able to play something that you can play as early as, turn 4, even if you don't have Tron, you still have a relevant thing you can be doing. I think just adds such a good element for Tron that it didn't necessarily have before.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to express how good it feels to be able to -2 that new Karn with 3 open mana and be able how do I win? Do I win with Trinisphere here? Do I win with Chalice? Do I
wow.
Phoenixes in the graveyard with Grafdigger's Cage? There's so many options. It really feels unfair.
What a good life you lived over there. You had to choose which card to win with. I'm choosing which card I am not going to immediately die with. So that's
Yeah, I actually so when it came to sideboarding, because a couple of things were really easy, right? I mean, Thrag Tusk seemed great, and Surgical Extraction seemed fine too. But like after that, I was like, well, I have these sideboard cards that all of which are good against Phoenix, but I'm not going to be able to like fetch all of them. So I actually brought a couple of them in just to have in the main deck, even though I couldn't fetch them with Karn, just because I thought like, well, I turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage or turn 2 Chalice seems fine.
And, when you're on the play, Chalice seems pretty decent, but yeah.
Yeah, and like, are we ready?
Okay. Well, it sounds like we're going to head back down to round 3. We are 1-1 here on the Team Modern Super League. Let's see if the Stream Squad can take the lead, or if the brothers who bash can hopefully get back to bashing now that I'm sitting behind the microphone instead. So here we go. Head right down to it.
Let's do this. All right.
All right, everybody, we are back here for round 3. We got Brad Nelson against Jess Estefan. I'm saying that right?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
I just call her Jess, so I actually have no idea.
Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look. We got Brad on Eldrazi Tron here. There's that beautiful card, Karn the Creator there. And what do you know? Tron just having turn 3 Tron, easy, no problem.
Yeah, this actually looks like a really great hand for Brad. I mean, the fact that he has turn 3 Tron and can like slam Karn and grab, well, presumably like a Grafdigger's Cage. That's gonna be really tough for Justified against. And her hand is it's pretty medium. Like there's no dredgers in her hand, and like while Faithless Looting can, get there, like help fix the hand, it doesn't fix the problem of her not doing anything for
exactly
turns, but
exactly. I think Jess is like really just praying for like exactly land and Stinkweed. Wow, Jess chooses to not even play it. That's kind of crazy to me.
I'm a little surprised because I feel like she wants to be hitting a land drop into
exactly
Dredger here.
Especially when you have 2 Narcomoebas and a Creeping Chew who are all essentially kind of dead cards to have in your hand. Like they have some applications, but they really don't do. And see, there's that stink. If the next card was a land, I think this might be a small blunder there, because then Jess is just set up.
Yeah,
it wasn't
Cathartic Reunion here.
Yeah. So it looks like Jess just really wanted to maximize her chances to hit a dredger, or hit a land, excuse me, just to truly, try to maximize the chances to be able to Cathartic Reunion on 2, which I can respect that.
Yeah, and now I think she's in kind of a tough spot because she can't dredge because she won't be able to do anything. So she really needs to just draw land off the top here.
Exactly. So
which would be great, but I mean, might be too slow here now.
So I have a little experience with dredge here. I played it at Mythic Championship 2 here, and I had the luxury of being able to have the London Mulligan rule. It is such an incentive for this deck, because I think dredge is the only deck in the modern format where when you see your opening hand, you actively want to mulligan because you want a Creeping Chill at the bottom, or you want a Narcomoeba back in your deck or something like that. So, I mean, like, without the London Mulligan rule, it really hurts this deck. And I believe we only have, a little bit before Corset 2020 before it comes back. So, Dredge, I think, is at its lowest power possible.
Which is still, like, pretty powerful. Like,
yeah.
It's not doing nothing here. It's in pretty good shape. But yeah, I think actually it's kind of interesting, because I think we're looking at the 2 decks that benefit the most from the London Mulligan.
100%.
Tron, which just wants to assemble 3 cards, doesn't really care, and Dredge, which wants a looting and a land and a dredger and is off to town. Like
exactly. But here they are, still standing strong.
Yep. And so what do you think Brad is going to be fetching here with Karn?
I don't know the whole toolbox sideboard here. I'm gonna pull that up right now, because I believe we do have access to lists here. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, like, Bridge right now doesn't seem very useful. So Brad has Crucible, Bridge, Grafdigger's Cage. Just gets the Cage. Oh yeah, of course against Dredge. That is going to be the kind of silver bullet there.
Yeah, and that's where I thought it was probably going to go, but I was like hoping, I had my fingers crossed kind of below the stream. You can't see it, but I was like, please don't have Cage. Just don't have Cage in the board. Just don't. That's fine.
Yeah. Brad didn't practice this matchup too much, but Brad's got enough a good enough head on his shoulder that he realized Grafdigger's Cage is good against Dredge. So that's my brother right there, really, with the top level plays here, top level MPL plays here.
He's got a sharp head on his shoulder. Obviously, maybe not as smart as his brother, but you know what? He's still a good guy.
I wouldn't say that, but thanks for the kind words there.
Hey, he's not on the stream, and you are, so.
Fair. So what do you think Jess can really do to get out of this here? Like, I'm kind of, I don't want to say it's so early in the game. I don't want to say it's over, but it's going to be a tricky one here.
It feels pretty over. I mean, like, she can play out, an imp or 2.
Yeah.
But, Brad is just going to draw into, an Oblivion Stone or an Ugin, and we'll wipe up Jess's board. And
I think what you said first there, April, I think you got your guys' major out here is that he does draw Oblivion Ring or wait, no, that's legal as well. I was thinking draw a non-legal card here. Draw like a Soul Ring so that you get DQ'd from this game. I think that's the top right there.
It could happen. Sometimes Moto rolls the dice in your favor, but it looks like looking at Brad's list, it looks like it doesn't actually have Ugin here.
It's a lot more low to the ground here. Definitely just trying to be pretty much the stock Eldrazi Tron list. Nothing really too new. Mm-hmm. I know Brad loved this deck back in the day. I can't remember which Pro Tour it was. The one where Luis Savato won. I can't remember. Yep, with Lantern, and Brad was just all about that deck at this point. And he's just been looking for a time to get back in the spotlight with Eldrazi Tron. So.
Nice. That was the deck that really, at the time I'd been dabbling in Lantern, and I was like, this is exactly the deck for me. I mean, it makes everybody just so miserable. It looks great. Why would you not want to play this deck?
And I had the great joy of testing with BBD for that whole time, and we just had a ball. Let me tell you, we tested all day nonstop, so we got a good 4 games in or so, and it was just good times. I think that's what led me to play Tron back then, just so I could just end those matches quickly. And then BBD goes on to just crush the tournament on Team Genesis there, and I did not do well.
Yeah, I remember playing my turn on Magic Online. It's tricky because it's a deck that in paper is very fast. Like you can play it fast. It doesn't have to be fast, but you can play it fast. And online, on Magic Online, it's a little hard to play fast. So you do things like you move the stack super close to their live. Like you pop the windows in like this super weird configuration. So you have to move the mouse the minimum amount of distance. It's
wow, I never thought about that. But yeah, just for pure convenience sake, huh? Yeah, because you're not only battling your opponent when you're playing Lantern, you're also battling your clock.
Absolutely, every game.
Yeah.
Anyways.
BBD's got the advantage of having a 40-minute match window here, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like against my deck, it still might not be enough, but we're gonna see.
Yeah. I'm excited to see your deck work. It's gonna be nice, April.
Well, work is a bit of a stretch. I appreciate the confidence by calling it a deck that works.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out.
Here, this looks just. I mean, I think things have gotten even worse for Jess here because attacking for 1 is just not going to do it. I mean, Brad can pump
Good
the
thing she has
by 2. Yeah.
She has 2 power.
Just so slow.
Yeah. I mean, just if Brad really wants to, he can just keep ticking up that ballista to deal with those flyers here. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I would assume that, looking at this, it wouldn't surprise me. So Brad is going to have access to 7, 8, 9 mana. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him, kill the imp, play a reality smasher, and then just get in with the walking ballista for 2.
Yeah.
I think you do that.
And Grafdigger's Cage does shut down Conflagrate too, so it's just can't be dealt with that way. Can't bring back Bloodghast. Like Grafdigger's Cage for 1 mana is just so unfair to Dredge.
Yeah, and you see Jess here, like she's kind of digging. Looks like she's like digging for lands because she knows that she has to be hard casting her spells.
Yep, pretty much. 3 mana 1/2s and 2 mana 1/1s. Let's go.
So
get on in there.
Very strong against decks with 3 Urza's lands in play. Very strong.
Oh, what does that card do that Brad just searched for? I haven't seen that in a full 10 frustrating minutes.
Yep, and like
Funny.
This, like I just love this because it really does give a lot of these. Like Eldrazi was a good kind of tempo aggro deck, right? I mean, it played Thought-Knot Seer to like have some minor disruption into a reality smasher, and would just kind of have some minor disruption and then just beat people's faces. But now it still has that element, but it also gets access to an entire artifact toolbox deck.
Exactly. Can go for a combo piece. And I think, April, something you brought up a little earlier when you were saying it's so nice to play Karn the Creator and be able to search for something that may be 1 to 2 mana or 3 mana to kind of choke out your opponent a little bit until the next turn when you search again and finally get that combo piece. Sorry, I'm losing my thought on what that card is actually called. That one that just what is it?
Mycosymphlatus.
Okay, yeah. So then you just get that and then you just lock them out. But being able to get something that is cheap that slows your opponent down enough where you can have the time to activate it again is just so backbreaking.
It really is. Like if Karn could only fetch big things, artifacts 6 or up, like it would probably be fine. But just the 1-2 punch and he stays alive is just
real
really
fair.
tough. Well, that
real
was
fair.
So I assume that our opponents were going to be spending more time sideboarding
no
here.
Kidding. These
right
two,
back in there super quick.
These 2 high-level MPL players know how to sideboard. I was going to just ask you some questions about what we think are going to bring in, but I did not even see what they're bringing.
It looks like Brad actually brought, so he, instead of leaving the Grafdigger's Cage in his board to fetch up with Karn, he actually brought it in main deck.
That seems weird to me, because then you go from having 4 cages to 1.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
when you're as lucky as Brad Nelson here, you just knew that one up was going to be right in your hand.
Right in your hand with the 1 land you need to cast.
Yeah, jeez. But
Things actually
This
look
is-
okay for Jess here, though.
Okay, but notice, April, the 2 lands Jess has. I was looking at that trophy as well, but right now, Jess does need a little bit of help to cast that Assassin's Trophy, but these reunions should do some work.
I think so. I mean, they're going to draw her really deep into her deck, and she just needs to find one black source, and she actually can even put it in the bin if she wants to, because she has Life from the Loan here.
Exactly, yep. Now, Brad has a little bit of a loose goose keep here besides that cage. Maybe a little blinded by the fact that it's the best sideboard card.
Yeah,
and I know
so
he has access to the deck list, but it still looks like your guys' modern Dredgeless has 4 claims and an Assassin's Trophy in the board. So it's not like Brad can truly expect that to just be an end-all.
Hold down the fort, yeah. And Brad isn't like out for safe here now because, I mean, Jess is very good at Magic, and got 4 free Creeping Chills here, so just had a 24 life swing for a couple mana.
Yeah.
So I think Brad is like, and that's like really important here because being below 10 life turns on all of her Bloodghasts.
True.
Gives them haste.
So Brad, well, Jess is great at Magic. Brad at least is being a little luckier right now and gets that land right off the top just to get that Mind Stone in play to give himself a little chance. Not
just any land, but in Urza's land as well.
Yeah, just perfect, actually. So if Jess fires off the Assassin's Trophy, I don't think she really is like needed to right now for Grafdigger's Cage right now. I think Jess can just like set up her graveyard a little bit more and then do it. But if she does feel inclined to take it out, Brad can start getting a biggish creature down and strap it to that Basilica there. Mm-hmm. And we might have a different story on our hand, but I think he's going to have to just settle with the Reshaper here and strapping it up next turn.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little slow, but it's interesting here that Jess decided to, I mean, Assassin's Trophy now lets her,
just go off next turn. I think I really like that, actually.
You think so? Over casting Reunion and trying to hit a 4th land?
I think so, because let's look at it this way. If we Assassin's Trophy now and then Reunion next turn, let's say we hit some Narcomoebas and can put some creatures into play, they don't get shut down by the cage. So it's really, Jess is really maximizing all the value she can get out of her cards, similar to what we saw her do even on turn 1 of last game, just trying to maximize the amount of draws by not even casting Reunion or not even casting Faithless Looting on that turn. Now Jess truly just gets to have a phenomenal dredge turn, and it's going to be tough for Brad to squeak this out if Jess can get a decent dredger here. And she has a Stinkweed Imp as long as with at least a Life of the Loam to be able to get a good dredge this turn.
Yeah, she's going to dredge a lot of cards, and she just needs to hit basically 1 Bloodghast to probably put this game away.
It didn't look like
all of her graveyard, but that doesn't look good. And she missed a land drop.
Yeah, we don't see any triggers here. We don't see any triggers popping up. Usually not ideal for the dredge player.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. She got pretty unlucky there that she didn't hit either a Narcomoeba or a Bloodghast. No, Bloodghast, obviously she's missing a land drop, but I don't think that would be the end of the world because she can loam next turn and get it back. But
yeah, I think what we're probably going to see, but Jess does have an Ancient Grudge in there, so that's pretty huge. Being able to take out this Caller, if Brad were to go to strap it, seems quite strong. Brad does have a lot of options here. He's going up to 5 mana, so can play a Reality Smasher, can go for a Karn the Great Creator.
Now, notably, if I remember correctly, if I remember my Karns, they...
and I believe you do, April.
I do know. They can... gosh, I just lost my screen. Sorry. The Karn can fetch cards in exile or outside the game, but Karn cannot fetch that
cards in
the graveyard.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's like really huge here. And so now I'm really unsure of what he's going to get. He doesn't have access to a second Grafdigger's Cage.
There's nothing for 1 mana that he can get.
Tormod's Crypt. Oh.
Tormod's Crypt, huh? Oh, yeah. Wow. Hey, I wasn't lying when I said Brad doesn't have anything for 1 mana. Has something for 0. Let's go.
Oh, this is really... Now Jess is in like a tough spot because she doesn't have any dredgers. But as soon as like a trigger goes on the stack, then,
then Brad can start to do something here. But unfortunately, if Brad gets a little too cute here, You'll notice that Brad is at effectively 2 right now, because if Jess just draws a card and then conflagrates and then just discards 6 cards, Brad does not have a response to that. So I think what Jess is going to try to set up here is a turn where she can end the turn at 7 cards. No, that doesn't work because... Okay. So I think this is Jess's line. This is what I would do. I would Life of the Loam this turn, get a land, Life of the Loam again, and then you can end the turn with 7 cards. You have to make sure to keep Conflag in your hand. And then the following turn, you can go Life of the Loam to get your... Because you'll draw to 8 cards.
10 cards, right? Loam
And
puts you
then
down
you'll...
to 7.
Down to 7, up to 10, and then Conflag down to 9, and then discard 9 cards. Boom.
So that's like, while I agree that that's a strong line.
Yep.
And you know, it's possible that Brad might not see it. Brad does have Basilisk Collar in play, so he can strap it to the Matter Reshaper and swing in for 3.
But we still got that Ancient Grudge.
No, she popped it. She popped the Ancient Grudge on the Mind Stone.
On the Mind Stone. I do see another one there, April. It is tough to see a little bit, but there is another one. So I think Jess can actually be content with only casting 1 Life of the Loam here, and then keeping up for Ancient Grudge. And then unless Brad has something else, which Karn the Creator, I'm guessing, can find something else very good here. With what's on board right now, Jess has the win next turn. But with what Karn can search up, that's going to be a different story.
It looks like there's a Spellskite in Brad's board.
Spellskite's going to be a little too late, because just in response to the Spellskite, Jess can use the Ancient Grudge then. So that won't do it. And Brad will not have enough.
So if Brad fetches... let me see this. So Brad...
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Brad gets Spellskite, you know, she can kill Spellskite,
redirect
but
the Conflag.
He could have strapped the Basilisk Collar onto Matter Reshaper.
Yeah. But yeah, she did have the... Ooh, but yeah, that's a heads-up play, Brad, just taking out the lands. Really making it tough to even get that critical mass of cards in her hand.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's a solid player, so he's probably considering, like, you know, I'm not dying to the creatures in the graveyard right now, because I've got this Tormod's Crypt, so how do I lose this game? And a giant fireball to the face is a pretty good way to lose the game.
Exactly. 8 is not the safest life total here. And with just stripping or using the Tormod's Crypt at this point really is going to slow down Jess so much, where she's going to have to take all of next turn as a setup turn and actually have to hope to get a little lucky. Like, what Jess is really going to want next turn is to Life of the Loam into at least 1 land. 1 land is the true thing, but honestly, maybe even wants like 2 lands and Stinkweed Imp, something like that, to truly be able to still keep the dredges going the next turn with being able to make your critical 4th land drop.
Yeah, I think she actually really, really needs to hit a land, because she is probably staring at that Karn thinking, well, if Brad draws a land next turn, I'm locked out of the game.
Yep. Well, Karn is just staring at Jess saying, I am Karn.
He does kind of do that in his droll little way.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite arena voice by a lot. Just when Karn comes into play, just says his name, moves on. It's like, thanks, Karn.
Thanks, Karn. Pacifist robot. All right. So looks like Jess picked up a land.
Yep.
So she can get back the Bloodghast.
Yep. And got an Archamoeba into play. So that was pretty above average, I think. Now it's iffy exactly. Is there a Steam Vent in this list? I'm guessing not, to be able to Life of the Loam and play an Archamoeba. I don't know how relevant that truly is right now, but...
Let me see what we've got in here.
So I think what Jess is considering right now is using the Fireball just on Karn to try to get that off the battlefield. And I mean, you have to consider that, because 1 more land and Brad can search up that Myosynth?
I think it's Mycosynth.
Mycosynth. Okay, can search that up and essentially lock her out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... So if she had a Dredger in the bin, it wouldn't necessarily completely lock her out, because she could just dredge into Bloodghasts and
that's true. I guess that's not the end all here,
which I think she has 1 left, but it's not the end, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the end like it was against me. I had to everybody that's watching right now can't see the Discord we're in, but I'm like, this is the first time that combo has been assembled to me, and what a treat it was, April. Let me tell you. Thanks thanks for doing that. I really, I'm gonna sleep easy at night after that. But I messaged I messaged in the chat, I'm like, I'm dead, right? And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay, I'll concede now.
Yeah, I appreciated that you gave me a whole turn cycle of just relishing you just like staring at your board and being like,
yeah.
I can't do anything actually here, can I?
I wanted to give you enough time, April, to play We Are the Champions in the background and really, soak it in there.
All right. So what do we got here?
Looks like what Jess is doing here, just sending them all, getting rid of, was that for 6? Looks like 1 at the Ballista, 4 at Karn, and 1 at the Dome.
Yeah.
7, wait, was that 1 at, oh yeah, I was like, 1 at Narcomoeba, but yeah, the Ballista redirected that. I think 7 is, oh, look at Brad Nelson there.
See?
Oh, yeah. He's a skilled magician right there.
This is why he's, one of the best players in the world. That's why he's on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, he's at home just screaming at the computer, try! So now the world is Brad's oyster here, and he, with complete perfect information of Jess's board state and everything, he's got to be feeling good about this.
I think so, but I mean, it's not
over by any means. But like, what do you think is Jess's best case scenario for next turn?
I think she dredges. I
think it would be dredge Stinkweed into a Faithless looting and then start kind of going off from there.
Yeah, I can see that. Trying to like. There you are. All right, so she did hit a Bloodghast and she hit a
Ancient Grudge.
Yep.
So we got 2 Bloodghasts in there. And nice heads up thinking on Jess's here. The body on Stinkweed Imps is actually pretty good. I mean, Brad is just kind of forced to use Endbringer's ability instead of attacking with it to really present the clock. And one thing I learned, whenever you give Dredge a bunch of times or a bunch of time to set up, usually not great for you.
Yeah, it's usually pretty bad. And she's got a lot, she has a lot of life to work with here too.
Yeah.
I mean, being at 29 from that huge 12-point life swing, it just gives her just nearly infinite time to, put her graveyard into play.
Exactly. So what I think Brad's going to do here is just go Reality Smasher go, kind of set up a board state where he can kind of alpha and only lose 1 creature with Stinkweed. But the problem with that plan, what do I know? Trying to get in his damage here.
I mean, it's not going to get any better, is it? Like, it's still going to just sit back there.
That's true. I mean, I'm surprised Brad didn't send Matter Reshaper then, but I guess he wants to play defense against Bloodghast. But he's untapping Endbringer, and he's able to block Endbringer deals a damage as well, right?
It can ping for 1, yes.
Or draw a card.
To drawing a card, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, so that's another Bloodghast here. So Life of the Loam is going to bring back 3 Bloodghast, which is going to trigger a Prized Amalgam. So yeah, this is a bit of a scary spot to be in.
Yeah, and she still has access to there's still 1 Ancient Grudge in the bin too. So
1 Ancient Grudge doesn't have any targets right now. Isn't super relevant, but definitely could be for later.
Yeah, I mean, but it does shut off things like Karn. Like if Brad were to like top deck a Karn here, he can't Mycosynthelitis her out because she can just float a green and flash it back.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Makes sense. So it's just the fact that your lands cannot produce anything, but if you float it, it's a little loophole around here.
You can't tap them, but the mana is still sitting there in your pool. It's kind of like how when your opponent casts Blood Moon, you're like, okay, tap for green, tap for black.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're good.
Exactly. And then when I'm playing, it's usually tap for green, tap for black. I'm bluffing. Good game. Let's go on to the next one. So here I want to point out that Jess attacked into this board that she knew was not going to net any damage. But what it does do is it allows, or it makes it so Endbringer doesn't draw a card. Instead, it protects Brad's life total. So that's 1 less card that Brad's going to get. And Jess has the ability to end step, sacrifice Wooded Foothills to just get him back. So all Jess was doing with that attack is just to cut off 1 extra card from Brad. So I think that was a heads up play there.
Absolutely. And Brad is like looking at his current board, he can chump the prized amalgam and shoot down a Bloodghast, but that still puts him at 3.
Yep.
And just gets to do this all over again with Bloodghast.
Exactly. So
And I think she's only seen the one prized amalgam, so if she just dredges another Stinkweed Imp, she could very well hit more bodies. So.
And one thing I would really like to know that we unfortunately don't have access to is looking at that exiled cards there and seeing if both conflags were gone here, because that's a key piece of information. Oh, ask and you shall receive here, huh?
Wow, this is awesome. Can I get ice cream?
Some high tech stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my address is deliver pizza to. No.
So it looks like
we only have one. So. Yeah. Jess is very live to get that, and at a convenient life of 7 instead of 8, meaning that, if Jess can assemble enough Life of the Loams here, basically just Life of the Loam until your hand is completely stocked and kind of wear Brad down here. Mm-hmm. All the creeping chills are gone, though. That's very big.
They were all gone in like the first turn, if I recall, or maybe the second turn.
I must have blinked and Brad got chilly, huh? So there is the second one there. Decides to dredge the Stinkweed, though. Interesting. Already has the land, so not feeling that it's super relevant. Yeah, has a Faithless Looting as well, but one thing I want to point out here is if we look in that top number next to Jess's clock, that's 12 cards. That's not that much. That's not a lot to play with.
It's not that much, but she doesn't really... I mean, she can go down to 5 cards, 4 cards, 3 cards, and just be like, I just need these few turns to close it out.
Exactly.
As long as she has life from the loam on these picking up lands, like she can just keep bringing Bloodghast back again and again. Mm-hmm. And actually, Stinkweed Imp is pretty good here because it's a 1/2 flyer, and that 1 damage might be all that she needs.
Exactly, and Brad's trying to, toe a fine line of how much can he get aggressive versus how much does he have to leave back to not put himself into a bad spot here. And like right now, as far as this goes with this current attack, last turn Jess was attacking just to stop Brad from drawing a card. But this turn, it's stopping Brad from drawing a card and getting in 2 damage here.
Yep, absolutely.
We can block the Amalgam and the Bloodghast and then ping a Bloodghast, but 2's getting through here.
Yeah, I actually think that if there was one of those advantage bars on the screen, that I think it would be like tilting towards Jess at this point.
I think it would be as well. I think it would be as well, especially because Brad doesn't have access to some of his hateful cards. Like we got a Crypt and the Cage in the graveyard. Mm-hmm. Other things that Brad can search up, like he could get a Bridge. A Bridge would be pretty effective. But other than that,
behind the Bridge and like just ping with Endbringer again and again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's definitely a plan. But again, I don't know how great that truly is.
In the bin. Or sorry, she has that Ancient Grudge in the bin. So.
Ooh, there's a play we missed, April. Brad had the heads-up play of setting that Blast Zone to 2, so that not only can he not take 2 damage here, but he gets to draw a card.
All right. That's good.
Yep. That is huge. Blast Zone into this deck is just another element that Eldrazi didn't really have, and it's kind of showing its power here.
Yeah, now if Brad hits another body, he might be okay. Like if he can hit even just a Reality Smasher or a Thought Nutsy or something that's big enough to block, or even or a Walking Ballista, I think.
Yep. But what we're gonna see here is Jess bringing back Life of the Loam, discarding 2 Stinkweeds, stacking the Wooded Foothills, hoping to find another land. That might be a problem here. If there's not another basic that Wooded Foothills can search up, Jess can't actually Life of the Loam this turn, and that is huge. And I have no idea the land counts.
Yeah, let me take a look here. Let's see. I know
it's usually 5 duels and then 1 basic from what I remember. Jess obviously did the numbers, still be 1.
I believe there's 6 duels in this case. 6 duels. Or sorry, 4 duels, 2 mountains.
Ooh, no, I don't. Okay. Maybe Jess didn't look close enough at what was X. I've done this with Dredge so many times. I'm like, I'm just sacking a sack land. Like every time I sack a sack land throughout the history of time, there's always a land. Oh wait, I have 4 cards in my library. I can't do that.
Yep. Oh wow. All right. Well, how did she win here? I guess she has. Oh, did I drop out again?
You're still showing up over here.
All right. Good. I
That's
think
a
what's
big
happening is
draw.
that I'm not moving my mouse, and so my computer is like going to sleep.
Nice.
I'm used to streaming, like I'm like playing games when I'm talking. I'm not used to just talking.
Yeah. You and me both, April. You and me both. I spent a lot of my time talking to specifically myself a lot, so it's nice to have a co-host here with me.
Nice. I mean, I do the same thing. I find myself to be one of the best conversationalists I know. So
Yeah. Well, you're crushing it here. So that's big. That was a huge draw. Being able to strip that one extra card means that Brad not only has a 2-turn clock, but Jess has to figure out a way to win with a few crutches here. 4 cards in the library, 0 cards in hand, and I mean the best play you can hope for now is getting a Life of the Loam and being able to conflag for 2 and no, you can conflagrate for 2 and then get back all the blood gas. But as far as I can see, that is the best play that Jess can do. And I don't think that's enough right now. All Brad is doing right now is running the numbers, how he can beat that sequence of cards while attacking with just enough to also close out the game. And I think the answer is going to be Reality Smasher and Matter Reshaper attacking. Okay, no, Endbringer and Reality
should attack too, right?
Endbringer and Reality Smasher attacking. Endbringer's going to untap. And then Brad's going to have Endbringer, Reality Smasher, and Thought Not Seer back to be able to deal with the 4 blood gas and then the 2 points of damage as a shock from Conflagrate. That it's just not going to be enough. But yeah, I think there's actually room to attack with a 3rd there. Because with the way that this sits here, Brad's taking a total of 4 from that line, and 4's not 7 last time I checked.
Yeah, and she if she still had the life from the Loam in her hand and didn't have to dredge this turn, she could get back 3 lands and just do this for a few turns in a row and hopefully draw something decent. But now she needs to get lands.
Even if there was another Life of the Loam, the 1 life would get another one. You could dredge that 2nd Life of the Loam, but you would need 6 mana to be able to Loam, and cast Conflagrate. So I think even that other Life of the Loam wasn't going to be enough here.
Yeah. Well, I think it gets back a couple amalgams, but yeah, the
amalgams are going to be tapped though, and they're not going to be attacking. So, and that's just going to be a turn too late.
Yeah, I think this game is done.
Yeah, I think
just
so.
4 cards left.
How did that Blast Zone get back there? Did I miss something? Or did he just draw another one?
Oh, is there? Let me take a look here.
Oh, there's 2 Blast Zones. I must have just missed one coming into play here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that deck, unlike Tron, which plays a bunch of green spells to like search up its Tron pieces, that deck just is like, I'll just draw my cards, whatever.
Yep.
I have enough early plays that I can just draw things and just interact, and that gives it a lot of latitude to play, cards like Ghost Quarter and Blast Zones that Tron doesn't quite have as many of because it needs to have those forests.
Exactly. You said it exactly right. You said my point there. It's able to play all these utility lands that Tron just can't afford to. Tron is trying to do one thing. Well, Eldrazi is doing the same thing, but worse. But it has just a wider range of tools where not only is the spells in the deck tool, the sideboard a tool with Karn the Creator, but now has those lands as extra tools for little corner case situations, kind of like what we saw with that Bloodghast with the Blast Zone on 2, which I think was a really heads-up play by Brad that kind of set him up into this position where he didn't have to go to 5, which he'd actually be in somewhat of a scary position here. But I think the way he did it, I think he's going to lock this one up, and the Brothers Who Bash might be off to a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like I might have to claw back a win with I don't even know what I'm playing. Some blue-red pile of cards. It's really bad.
April, on the good side, though, believe this. Me and you can take a solid 4.5-hour nap. We have Lantern coming up next in the hands of Brian Braun Dizzler.
I don't get a nap.
Oh, you don't get a nap. Well, you can take a nap while Lantern's going on.
I could probably
sneak a couple of snoozes in.
Yeah, we do get 40 minutes on. I think we're supposed to have 40 minutes on our clock each, so I can.
Yep.
I can get at least a half an hour in.
Exactly. You can run to Starbucks in between turns. Get some light reading done.
That sounds great, man. It's been a long time since I've been on the other end of Lantern. Normally, whenever I play it, I never see anybody else play it because nobody else is truly as awful of a human being as I am. And every time I play it, when I go to a game shop with it, people always crowd around. Like every single time you play it, there's always somebody there who's like, "Oh, you're playing Lantern." Oh my
God. Look at this, April. If Jess just had 2 more cards in her library, Jess would be setting up the win next turn because Jess could Life Alone, get up to 5 cards, and then can flag for the win. But unless that top card is another Life Alone, which I do see all 4, I don't think there is a way. Unless I'm missing something here.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
gonna wrap it up. Well, that was that went a little more in favor of Eldrazi Tron than I actually thought that match was gonna go. I thought this was gonna be kind of a tough one for Brad.
I thought so too, but again, that the fact that Karn can -2 and pick up some kind of utility card, in this case, that Tormod script was huge. It set Jess back a lot on a lot of tempo, and even if it died right away, it did its job. And Jess had to devote a lot of resources to dealing with it to avoid the Mycosynth lock.
Yep. And I think one of the biggest things about this match is the fact that Brad was able to access these really key cards in game 1, because Dredge is predominantly crushing a large percentage of the metagame, including Tron. I think game 1 is really in Dredge's favor, but being able to have access to those cards game 1 as well as the sideboard games is pretty good. Did Tron
pretty darn good? I mean, if I could tell you that these powerful decks like Tron, playing Tron lands, had access to 4 main deck Grafdigger's cages, I would be like, well, they've got to be favored against Dredge now. It's just so huge to have access to those right away in that first game.
And then Brad made the bold decision to side one out, so he went down to 1 copy instead of 4. I'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting call, and I'm not sure, because remember when I was saying against Phoenix that I had so many things I could fetch up with Karn that were good against you that it made sense to bring a couple into the main deck. And maybe that's the right call here.
Well, whatever you did against me worked like a charm, but unfortunately what Jess did to Brad did not work. So it sounds like we're going to be taking a short commercial break, and then we're going to be back for round 4 with April King up against Brian Braun-Duin with Lantern and a deck you do not want to miss from April. Stay tuned.
See you all later.